I'm feeling pleased to introduce myself. I'm Anas Nasim, and my tutor name is Dr. Zini Hu, and my tutorial number is 1, and my ID is 230611045. Our group presentation is titled Research Skills in Action Driving Strategic Management Success, and it focuses on analyzing how Brexit has affected one of the largest and most influential retailer of UK, Tesco, especially in the area of supply chain and operation. And the next slide is abstract. To begin with, let's consider the background and context. Brexit, the UK exit from the European Union, has been one of the most significant political and economic charges in recent British history since the official departure in January 2020. UK firms have had to adapt new trade rules, custom procedure, and labor market condition. And the next slide is introduction. Now let me talk about why this topic is important. This topic is important because it's helped us understand the strategic decision that manager need to make in times of uncertainty. How should a business respond when their cost of operation increase or when the delivery time became less predictable? There are practical questions that demand informed and evidence-based response. The one is the research is important for understanding how major firms adapt to political and economic shift, ensuring competitiveness and community. And the second one is this analysis support strategic decision making in uncertain environment and highlight the value of responsive supply chain management. And the next slide presented by Hina Anatullah.
My name is Hina Anayatullah and my student ID is 230754008. The given slide is about the problem statement and the research question. The post-Brexit Tesco and the other UK companies are grappling with the customer wait times and the workforce secretly. Effortlessly trading the partnership with the European countries have came to an end, ending also the layer of the difficulty and the expenses. The retail sector basically is being squeezed in retail sector is being between the shrinkage and the margin, raising the operational cost and quick adaptability become essential and avoid the higher prices or the stock outs. There is a lack of research focus on the corporation strategy racing or the Brexit. Our analysis basically focus on the efforts of the Brexit on Tesco, the European Union supply chain strategy in the term of cost efficiency. Basically, this research hopes to establish what successful approaches can be identified, consequently gleaning the valuable insight for devising efficient plans. My next slide is about the critical literature review. In critical literature review, the Brexit has altered the UK trade landscape with the Europe, and they also facing the uncertainty in the disruption. UK businesses also face the decrease or increase in the custom checking, the regularity cost, and the labor shortages. Tesco is also a major UK retail experience the border delay and the compliance burden. The Tesco is also shifted to the sourcing more goods from UK supply base. This strategic change reduced the dependency on Europe imports and mitigated risk. However, it required to costly renegotiation and supplier contracts and internal restructure. Brexit has faced or forced the UK firms to adapt and rethink their operation. The next slide presented by the Amin Muhammad.
Hi, my name is Amin. My slide is methodology. In this slide, I will explain how we gathered and analyzed the secondary data used in research. Since this research focuses on how Brexit has affected Tesco supply chain, I used secondary data sources that are credible, recent and relevant to business management data collection process. We gathered data from many sources. All sources we are evaluated for credibility, relevance, and time lenses. To ensure that the data support accurate conclusion, I started reviewing Tesco's annual report from 2020 to 23. These helped me to understand how the economy responded to Brexit, especially in the terms of supply chain adjustments, sourcing strategy, and all over the operational performance. Then I collected instincts from the industry reports, especially from KPMG, which gave a wider perspective on how retailers in general, including Tesco, begin changing their source strategies. To understand the bigger picture, I also used government data mainly from the Office of National Statistics (ONS). This data helped me to track how import and the export volume of changing between UK and the EU after Brexit. In addition to that, I used academic journals, business new resources like the BBC, Tip Ranks, and Financial Times. Next slide is key findings. One of the most prominent findings in rise in Tesco operational costs since Brexit, according to the EU-UK Trade Cooperation Agreement (ECA), customs declaration, inspection, and documentation become mandatory after January 2021. Industry sources such as Tip Ranks 2023 report 5% for 5%, 5.4% increase in Tesco operation cost, a large part of the which streams from the Brexit-related supply chain distributions. These affecting Tesco profit margins the time major issue that delays the product deliveries. According to the Food and Drink Federation, customs check and regulatory changes have led to delay up to the 5 days for some imports. This is particularly challenging for Tesco fresh food and produce items, which are time sensitive. Additionally, UK trade data between 2021 and 23 shows 27% drop in export and 32% decline in import from EU, which pointed the border post-Brexit market distribution. This is significant for the Tesco as the relies heavy on the EU supply chain, especially for fresh food and categories. Next slide is taken by Donny Matthew.
Hi, my name is Donny Matthew. My student ID is 22014313. And now I am presenting the remaining key findings. Third finding is the labor shortage in logistics and warehousing. Brexit also impacted Tesco's labor availability and the free movement from the EU. There has been a reduction in the number of low-skilled workers. Tesco's 2022 and 2022 annual report mentioned these challenges in response to these options. Tesco began to shift its sourcing strategy. Evidence from Tesco's reports and KMBJ data, Tesco is increasing its reliance on UK-based suppliers and expanding its own law product lines to reduce dependency on EU imports. And the last findings is that Tesco is investing in technology and digital process to cope with Brexit-related complexity. These adaptations are vital to ensure resilience in a supply chain. And the 2021 IGD report states that Tesco was among the top UK retailers using predictive analytics and digital logistic platforms to navigate new trade process. In my next slide, I am going to discuss about these key findings. Now let's explore what these results mean to Tesco's management and how they inform better strategic decision making. One of the clearest implications from the findings is that Tesco must continue to adapt its supply chain strategy. The rise in operational costs and delays in EU borders make it essential for Tesco to reduce reliance on EU suppliers. The labor shortages due to Brexit have particularly affected Tesco's logistics and distribution workforce. This might include retaining programs, higher pay in critical roles, or recruiting more UK-based logistics talents. And the another area is that the management should focus on the use of technology to streamline complaints and logistics. These findings highlighted that Tesco is already using AI-driven forecasting and digital customs platforms. By automating forecasting, inventory tracking, and customs documentation, Tesco can save time, reduce error rates, and prevent shortages in a highly regulated post-Brexit trade environment. And the last one is that the secondary data analysis has proven essential in revealing trends, risks, and opportunities. It enabled Tesco's to make evidence-based decisions rather than reactive ones. The next slide is taken by Rahan Yunus.
Hi, my name is Jahan Yunus and my student ID is 2303639. Yeah, I am here to discuss about recommendations. To address post-Brexit challenges, Tesco should expand in UK-based supplier network to reduce EU import reliance. Investing in AI-driven logistic tools can improve efficiency and reduce errors. Targeted training and employee incentives can help retain skilled workers. Collaborating with the industry groups can simplify trade protocols and reduce regulatory burdens. Protocols and reduce the regulatory digital supply chain planning and stress testing can enhance the resilience to future changes. These recommendations aim to improve Tesco cost efficiency and long-term competitiveness. My next slide is about the conclusion. The conclusion is that this research explore the Brexit impact on Tesco supply chain strategy and the cost efficiency. Brexit caused significant disruptions, forcing Tesco to adopt quickly. Tesco shifted to UK-based sourcing, invested in logistic tech, and streamlined processes to maintain competitiveness. These strategies are be applied by other businesses facing similar trade disruptions. The findings can inform future trade policies and the supply chain management. And this research opens the door of further studies on the long-term impacts and the sustainability. Here we are all putting too much effort in this project. Thank you for hearing. Please give us a positive feedback.